I didn't believe in signs from the universe. 64 years of life had taught me that coincidences are just that, coincidences. Random events without deep cosmic meaning. But when I saw Elizabeth Thornton standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon, at the exact same viewpoint where we had stood for the last time 38 years ago, I began to question my disbelief. It was early October, the kind of golden morning that makes Arizona almost unbearably beautiful. I had woken before dawn at the lodge, unable to sleep, and driven to the South Rim to watch the sunrise alone. My therapist had suggested this trip. You need to process your grief somewhere other than that empty house. Robert and Grand Canyon National Park had seemed as good a place as any for a 64-year-old widower to escape his memories. Except here was a memory, in flesh and bone, standing against the safety railing. Her hair, once dark brown, now predominantly silver caught by the wind. Wearing a green fleece jacket and holding an expensive camera, she was photographing the canyon, adjusting lenses and angles with the precision of someone who knew what they were doing. For a moment, I considered retreating silently. After all, what would I say? Hi, remember me? The guy who ended our engagement by email because he was too cowardly to do it in person. Not exactly a winning icebreaker. But then she lowered the camera and turned, and our eyes met across the 20 meters separating us. I saw recognition cross her face shuck first, then something more complicated. She didn't smile, but she didn't look away either. Slowly, like a man walking to his execution, I crossed the distance between us. Elizabeth. Her name in my mouth was strange and familiar at the same time. Robert Palmer. She said my full name, the way she used to when she was being formal or irritated. I couldn't tell which. After all these years, 38, Oka, or thereabouts, I stopped at a respectful distance. You look, ... Well, exactly as you should look. Old, you mean. There was a touch of humor in her voice now. It's okay. I'm 62. Old comes with the territory. I was going to say distinguished. Professional photographer. I gestured to the camera. For 20 years. National Geographic. Time. Freelance. For various magazines. She held the camera protectively. And you, still in medicine. Retired 2 years ago. Cardiology. I put my hands in my pockets. Unsure what to do with them. Elizabeth. What a coincidence. U.S. being here. At this specific viewpoint, she looked around. The same one where you proposed to me in 1986. My stomach tightened. You remember? Of course, I remember. Robert, some things you don't forget. Like your fiancé. Deciding 6 months later that medicine was actually more important than marriage. And communicating that by email. It was cowardly. Unforgivable. The words I had rehearsed 1,000 times over the years came out broken. Elizabeth, I've spent 38 years wanting to apologize to you properly. She studied me for a long moment. Coffee, she gestured vaguely toward the visitor center. If we're going to have this conversation, after almost 4 decades, I need caffeine. Sure. Yes. Coffee. We walked in silence to the small cafe nearby. Ordered our coffees. She still took hers black. I still put in too much cream and found a table outside overlooking the canyon. The sun was higher now, painting the rock walls in shades of red and gold. So, Elizabeth said, stirring our coffee, even though she hadn't added anything. Why are you here? At the Grand Canyon? Don't tell me it's coincidence. My wife died. The words came out more abrupt than I intended. 18 months ago. Pancreatic cancer. Fast and brutal. My therapist suggested I take some time. Travel. Process. This place seemed appropriate somehow. Elizabeth's face softened. Robert, I'm sorry. I really am. Catherine was a good woman. Good doctor. Better wife. We had 33 years together. I looked at my hands. Not perfect, but good. Solid. Children? 1. Julia. She's 31, a lawyer in Chicago. Married, gave me 2 grandchildren. I see maybe 3 times a year if I'm lucky. I looked at her, and you never married. Almost once in my 40s. But She shrugged. It didn't turn out to be right. No children, just a career that took me to 73 countries and countless stories. No regrets. Didn't say that. She took a sip of coffee. But I don't live in them either. You make choices. Live with them. Move on. You were always better at that than me. At moving on, or at making choices. There was an edge to her voice now. Both. I took a deep breath. Elizabeth, I need to say this. What I did was unforgivable. You deserve better than a cowardly email from a man who was too afraid of his own future to honor his commitments. Why'd you do it? She stared at me directly, not the excuse about medical residency being too demanding. The real reason. I had thought about that question for 38 years, had discussed it in therapy, ruminated during sleepless nights, explored in every corner of my consciousness, and the answer was both simple and too complicated. Because you were too real, I finally said. Too vibrant, too passionate, too alive. And I was this repressed kid from a traditional family who was terrified of real passion. Medicine was safe, predictable. I could hide in it. Use work as an excuse to never really open up completely. So, you married Catherine. 3 years later, and before you ask, yes, I loved her. Truly, but different from how I loved you. Catherine was my sensible adult choice. You were my wild and scary heart's choice. Elizabeth was quiet for a long time, looking at the canyon. You want to know the really sad part? Primera und orstu. Even then, even through the anger and hurt, part of me understood. We were too intense, too young, burning too bright. We probably would have consumed each other, or we could have been extraordinary. Or that. She looked at me again. But we can't know, Robert. That's not the path we took. Did you regret it? Your choice not to marry, to focus on your career. Sometimes, lonely nights, in hotels, in foreign countries. Holidays spent alone, watching friends with families, grandchildren. She paused, but then I see my photographs in museums. I get emails from people saying my work changed how they see the world. I remember sunrises in the Serengeti, storms in Patagonia, faces in Mumbai. And I think this was my life. Not perfect, but mine. Wise Elizabeth. Not wise. Just old enough to accept that every choice has a cost. She finished her coffee. You said you had 33 good years with Catherine. That's not nothing, Robert. Many people never have that. But there was always this thing. This shadow. I struggled with the words. I loved Catherine, but she knew we never discussed it. But she knew that there was someone before her. Someone I had let go but never fully released. And now she's gone. And you're here, at the place where you proposed to another woman, processing both losses. Elizabeth's wasn't a question, something like that. I looked at the canyon, that impossible vastness that made human problems seem both small and significant at the same time. My therapist says, I need to forgive myself for what I did to you, for never being completely present for Catherine, for all the choices I made out of fear instead of courage. And can you forgive yourself? I don't know. That's why I'm here. I looked at her. Seeing you again, I don't know if it makes it easier or harder. Elizabeth was quiet for a moment, then stood up. Walk with me. There's a rim trail that goes along the edge. It's easy, flat, good for conversations and reflections. I'd love to. We began walking, the canyon unfolding to our right in all its impossible glory. Other hikers passed occasionally. But for the most part, we had the trail to ourselves. You know what I learned? Photographing the world for 20 years, Elizabeth said after we'd walked in silence for a few minutes. Every place, every moment, every person exists in context. A beautiful sunset in one place is the result of specific humidity, light, angle, time of year. You can't recreate it exactly in another place, another time. We're like sunsets. We're products of our context. 26-year-old Robert in 1986 made choices based on who he was. Then his fears, his pressures, his limitations. You can't judge that man by 64-year-old Robert's standards. But it still hurts. I still regret. Of course it hurts. Regret is just love with nowhere to go. She stopped walking, turning to face me. But here's what else I learned. You can't live your whole life in one frozen moment of regret. You have to let go. Not because the past didn't matter, but because the present matters more. How do you do that? Let go. By acknowledging that the person you were did the best they could. That your choices, even the painful ones, led you to moments of joy, your daughter, your grandchildren, years with Catherine. That my life, even without you in it, was rich and full and meaningful. She touched my arm gently. We weren't meant to be, Robert. We were young and passionate and ultimately incompatible at that moment in our lives. How do you do that? Let go. We might have resented each other. My career would have suffered. Your medical training would have suffered. We might have imploded spectacularly. She started walking again, or maybe we would have found a way, but we didn't, and spending decades living in maybe's poison. We walked further, the sun warming our backs, the canyon changing colors as the light shifted. Elizabeth stopped occasionally to photograph a rock formation, a raven, the way light fell through clouds. You still love doing this, I observed. Photographing. More than anything, it's meditation, prayer, purpose, all in one. She adjusted her lens. Catherine did. She'll give you that. A sense of purpose. Madison did. Catherine gave stability, companionship, love. I paused. But no, not that make your heart sing thing. Not the way you had with photography, or the way we had with each other. Elizabeth lowered her camera. Robert, can I ask something difficult? Anything. Are you here looking for forgiveness from me, or looking for validation that your choices were wrong, so you can punish yourself more? The question hit me like a punch. I don't know, because if it's forgiveness you want, you have it. A long time ago, I was angry for years, then hurt, then eventually just at peace with it. She held my hand. But if you're here hoping I'll say your life was wasted, that you made a terrible mistake and ruined everything, I won't do that, because it's not true. How can you say that? Because I know your story now. 33 years with Catherine, a daughter, grandchildren, a career saving lives. That's not waste, Robert. That's a life lived. Her eyes were glistening now. It wasn't the life we might have had together, but it was your life, and it had meaning. But there was always this hole. There will always be a hole for everyone. Her voice was firm now. I have a family-shaped hole I never created. You have a passion-shaped hole you let go. But holes don't define us. Not unless we let them. We reached another viewpoint and sat on a bench. The canyon stretching before us in all its ancient magnitude. Millions of years of geological history exposed in layers. Each stratum telling the story of different eras, different worlds. We're like that, I said, pointing at the rock layers. Strata of choices and experiences, all stacked on top of each other. And you can't erase the lower layers without destroying the entire formation. Elizabeth continued the thought. That 26-year-old Robert who left me. He's the foundation of the 64-year-old Robert sitting here. You can't hate him without hating yourself. So how do I make peace? By thanking him for making the difficult choice that led you to Catherine, to Julia, to a career saving lives, for eventually bringing you here, to this moment where you can finally process and let go. She turned to face me. Robert, You've been carrying guilt for 38 years. Isn't it time to put it down? Tears began streaming down my face, not the first since Catherine died, but the first that felt like release instead of agony. I miss you both so much. Catherine, who's gone, and you, whom I let go. I know. Elizabeth pulled me into a hug, and I let myself sink into it, letting decades of grief pour out. But we're still here.
Robert?
You and I, alive and breathing and capable of choosing what to do with whatever time we have left. When I finally pulled away, she was smiling through her own tears. You want to know something funny? I came here for the same reason as you. To process, to reflect, to figure out what to do with the rest of my life. Photography isn't enough anymore. Photography is wonderful. But I'm 62 years old. Robert, I'm tired of living alone. Tired of hotels and suitcases and always being in motion. I want community, connection, maybe even love. It's not too late. It's never too late. No. She looked at me. Then, let me ask, two old people with complicated histories and previously broken hearts. Do you think there's room for some kind of fresh start? Not to recreate what we were, but to discover what we could be now. My heart started that impossible acceleration again. Elizabeth, are you... I'm saying I forgave you a long time ago. That I understood your choices even when they hurt. That I built a good life without you but always wondered what if. She took my hand, and I'm saying that maybe the universe, fate, stupid coincidence, whatever it is brought us back here for a reason. I live in Baltimore. You live... double quotes. In Santa Fe, 14-hour drive, 3-hour flight. She shrugged. Both retired. Both alone. Both finally old enough to maybe make it work this time. Or too old to try. Robert Palmer, you spent 38 years lamenting not fighting for me. Are you going to waste more time being a coward? She was right. God, she was right. I had spent an entire life making safe choices, protecting my heart, hiding behind work and responsibility and fear. And where had that gotten me? To a double grief for the wife I lost, and for the love I let go. No. I squeezed her hand. I'm not gonna waste more time. Elizabeth Thornton, I don't know if this will work. I don't know if we're the same people or if that spark still exists. But I know I can't walk away from you again without trying. Then don't walk away. She was smiling now. That radiant smile I remembered from 38 years ago. Stay. Let's spend the next few days together. Walk, talk, see if we still fit. And after, we'll see. No pressure, no impossible promises. Just two old friends, old lovers. Seeing if there are second chances in this world. We stayed on the bench for a long time, hands joined, watching the canyon change colors as the day progressed. Other tourists came and went, taking photos, exclaiming about the view. Always moving, but we remained 2 points of stillness in a world of motion. Thank you, I finally said. For what? For forgiving who I was. For seeing who I am. For being willing to discover who we can be together. Robert, we've been given a rare gift, a chance to revisit the past with the wisdom of age. Most people never get that. She rested her head on my shoulder. Let's not waste it. We won't. I promised. And there, at the edge of the Grand Canyon, surrounded by millions of years of Earth's history and carrying decades of personal history, two old hearts began slowly, cautiously, hopefully to open again. It wasn't a fairy tale love story. We were too old, too wise, too scarred for that. But it was something perhaps better, a story of forgiveness, growth, courage, chosen, instead of instinctive. And as the sun began its descent and the canyon exploded in gold and crimson, I finally understood. The path we took, with all its detours and regrets, had brought us here. To this moment, to this second chance. And this time, I would choose courage. I would choose love. I would choose Elizabeth. Finally,